Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, today we're going to test the true capacitance of the Zoom's 200 amp hour LiFePO 4 battery. This is hooked to 600 watts of solar, and it's at 3.44 right now, which is right at 100%. So we're going to go ahead and turn the amp meter on. And we'll set it up to 200 there, and you see it zeroes out. We'll go ahead and flip the breaker on. It also zeroes out. I'm going to get the kilowatt meter set up on the plug, and we're going to run two deep freezers off of it. Generally per day they pull about a kilowatt per day. So these things can pull up to 30 amps at a time. The pure sine wave inverter itself pulls around 1.5 to 2 amps constantly. So we'll have to factor that in also. Let me get everything hooked up. Alright, we're going to turn the inverter on and then turn the loads on. Now, to be fair, I did run the compressors on high just for a few minutes on shore power, and we're going to set both freezers to medium. Alright, you heard the inverter click off. Going to be drawing about 1.5 amps. And the battery voltage is at 13.43, which is 100%, 99 to 100. So there's that 1.5 amp draw. We're going to go turn the freezers back on. Alright, both freezers are on. The compressors are not running right now. It's 117.3 volts. No amps. No watts yet, 60 hertz, and no kilowatt hours yet because nothing's running. We've been running for 1 minute. So we're going to let this thing run over the next couple of days because we're supposed to have good weather and really put this Zoom's battery to the test, and we'll check it every couple hours and see how much kilowatts we've drawn down, and we know how much amperage the inverter is going to pull by itself, so we'll factor that in based off the hours on the kilowatt meter. Alright, we're at the kilowatt meter. We are drawing 1.27 amps or 79 watts at 60 hertz. If you see there, we've been running 20 hours at 770 kilowatt hours. So we've brought in more kilowatt hours than we've expelled today, so we are charging. And we'll have to factor in the inverter loss as well. So we'll do that in a couple hours, right around the 24-hour mark. We'll get everything in and see what happens. Alright, we've been pulling down the Zoom's battery for about 24 hours straight now. That's that constant background draw. We're sitting at 12.28 off the battery, which would put us, 13.28, which will put us above 70%, somewhere between 70 and 90. And if you see here, it shows we're at 99%. It's the end of the day. We'll look at how much we brought in. About 1.2 kilowatt hours for the day. So we'll take a look at the kilowatt meter and see what we got. Alright, we're here at the kilowatt meter, and as you see, we've pulled down almost 1 kilowatt of energy. It's 930 watt hours. Still doing 60 hertz. Nothing really on the compressors. They just turned off. 118 on the volts. So I'll get everything written down on paper so we can kind of look and see what we got. Alright, it's the start of the second morning, just after 9 a.m. You see we're bringing in 17 watts, 1.2 amps. The battery is at 13 volts. So we had a battery minimum of 12.10, a battery max of 13.0. We've done 1 amp hour. So we'll let it charge today and see how much it goes in and continue on with this battery testing. Alright, it's 10:36. We're bringing in just under 6 amps, 326 watts. The MPP stepping it up to 22 amps. We are at 13.5, which technically is fully charged, but we know that it needs to go into absorption. We are in MPPT charge mode, and the record for today is 150 watt hours, 12 amp hours. Max charge was 400 watts. Minimum voltage 1210, max was 13.8. So we'll let it continue to charge. Alright, it's just after 12:30. Still pulling that constant load. 13.62, which will put us over 100% state of charge. We're bringing over 500 watts in. 13.90 on the charge controller, 36 amps charging. And right now we've brought in 51 amp hours, or 600 watt hours. Let's go check out that kilowatt meter and see what it says. Okay, we've been running 43 hours and 25 minutes. We've taken down 1.65 kilowatts, so that would be 1.650, so 1,650 kilowatts we brought down. So in the past 2 days, we've actually charged more than we've used on the load side, but we still got to factor in loss in the inverter side. So we'll let it keep going and see what we get for today. Alright, it's 12:42. We're still bringing in over 500 watts, 35 amps, and we've hit boost charge mode. It's at 14 volts. So the battery is sucking in the last little bit of energy to top it off. Alright, it's just after 1 o'clock. We're drawing down 12 amps. We are at 13.49, 13.50, which would be fully charged. If you see here, we're still bringing in 200 watts, 13.6 in the charge controller, 20 amps, and we brought in just under a kilowatt. Let's go check out the kilowatt meter and see what it says. Alright, we're just over 44 hours of running, 1.650 kilowatts, 60 hertz. We're pulling down 84 watts, 1.33 amps AC, 115 volts. So it's still doing very well. We'll come back and check at the 48-hour mark. Alright, we're nearing the end of the second day, 48 hours. The inverter is drawing down. We are at 13.33, which will put us right at 90% to 99%. If you see there, 13.20. And for record, we brought in 1.1 kilowatts, 87 amp hours. Let's go take a look at the kilowatt meter. Alright, 47 and a half hours in. We've pulled down 1.83 kilowatts. 60 hertz, nothing on. So yeah, it's doing really well. We'll let it keep going. Okay, it's 6:19. The sun has set. We are at 13.16 off the battery, which will put us right at about 40 to 70%, somewhere in there. The compressors are running on both deep freezers. It's pulling 25 amps. And we'll look at what we brought in today. We're sitting at 13 volts on the charge controller. We brought in 1145. So a little less than yesterday, I believe. Yeah, a little less than yesterday. So let's check out the kilowatt meter. Alright, we've been going 49 hours. Drawn down 1.9 kilowatts. Drawing 133 watts. 1.75 amps. At 114 volts AC. So, we'll let it run till tomorrow and see what happens. Alright, it's 8:41 the next morning. This is going into the third day, so it's been about 2.5 days it's been running. 18 watts we're bringing in. 13 volts right now. Look at the record. The low was 1210. The maximum battery voltage was 13.0. We've done 1 amp hour. So, still doing good. Alright. It is around 10 a.m. This been about 2.5 days we're running on the Zoom's battery, 13.07, 13.8. We are drawing down about 14 amps. It is very cloudy out today. It's 10 o'clock. See 13 on the charge controller. We're only bringing in about 70 watts, 5 amps. Let's see the record for today. 5 amp hours, 0.064 kilowatt hours, so not much energy today. Battery minimum was 1210. The max was 1310, so we had a volt in between. So if we're sitting at 1308 on the meter, we'll be between 30 and 40% right now. So hopefully we can get this up. Let's go look at the kilowatt meter. Alright, we've been going almost 65 hours. Drawn down 2.56 kilowatt hours. 60 hertz. We're pulling 61.5 amps. I'm sorry, watts. 0.59 amps at 114. So it's been going quite some time now. We'll let it keep going. Hopefully today we get some break in the weather and these things charge up. Alright, it's 12 noon. We're still pulling down some amps there, about 17 amps into the inverter. 13.19, which puts us right at about 70% battery. It's very overcast today, as you can see. 110 to 120 is the wattage we're getting in. Only about 8 amps to charge. 13.10 on the battery from the charge controller. About 22 amp hours. We've seen a high battery of 13.4. So the compressors are running on the refrigerator right now. That's why the battery is a little low. Hopefully we can get enough charge in today and see into tomorrow, because we got some bad weather coming in. Alright, we're coming up on 3 days now with this Zoom's battery being charged by 600 watts of solar. There's that constant inverter load. We are at 13.19, which puts us right at about 70%. And you can see 13 right there. Today was an overcast day, so we didn't bring in much. 55 amp hours is really all we've seen today, 0.700 kilowatt hours. Let's go look at the kilowatt meter and see what we got. Alright, we're right at 71 hours. 70 hours, 55 minutes, so almost 3 days. 2.83 kilowatts. So it's done very well over the last 3 days. Like I said, it hasn't been perfect weather today, but it did charge up to about 70, 80%, somewhere around there. You can't really tell with the LifePo 4 batteries, it's hard. So I would say this is definitely a good buy. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.